Everybody hear me over there? Okay. Hi, I'm Kristi. I'm from Island Shakespeare. Some of you may remember me from a little over a year ago now when I came to speak to you about the production of Don't Do About Nothing that we did over in the amphitheater, just across the street there. I'm coming again to you folks today to hopefully get your support for the continued presence of Island Shakespeare here on the island. And we're hoping to find a new space and hopefully a little bit more of a long-term space so that hopefully we don't have any clashes with neighbors and things in the future, finding a space all of our own so that we can continue to exist here on the island. The space that I'm looking at now, and I have a few of these I can start passing around. I can do this with 2 hands. The space that we're looking at now is the space on the the space under the 59th Street Bridge on the Queens side of the island. If any of you have been over in that area and seen that space, right now there's a dock. It's got some flooding that I think has been there since Sandy. There's a lot of trash, debris, things like that. It's gated off. The gate itself has kind of a green tarp that's all matted, although it's quite ugly. I walk my dog around that area a lot, and it's a big eyesore. Sorry, I have enough to sort of spread out through the tables, not quite enough for everyone. So what Island Shakespeare is hoping to do with your support and then with the support of RIRA is to take that space, fix that space up, make it a really beautiful outdoor theater so that we can continue to exist here. We'll take the expense on us of cleaning it up, of making it accessible to folks, of opening up a gate. We're going to put a railing if we get the space along the water so that it's safe. And the big concern that people have brought to me, as I've mentioned this to them, is the safety of the dock. As fate would have it, a good friend of mine from childhood owns a dock building construction company, and he came out with me a little bit ago, a couple weeks ago, had a look at the space, and so far, in his opinion, it looks like it's structurally sound. He thinks he knows what he can do to fix it up. You see head shaking. Obviously, before we used that space, we would get people in there to take care of it and make sure it was completely sound. If it is not structurally sound, if it ends up being one of those situations where it's a multi-million-dollar rebuilding project, then what I'm hoping to do is to use space still in the south of the island, at sort of South Point Park, just before where the FDR Memorial Park begins. That's sort of blocked off and fenced off to people right now. This is not as ideal of a space as the initial one, but I think we can do really great theater there. Okay, I'll let Ellen here field questions. No?
I know that that area at the dock at one point was surveyed because there had been discussions about making that into a pier, but potentially having a ferry service. And it is structurally unsound at this point, I think. And they actually had divers that went down and evaluated it, so I think that may not be a viable place. And I think with some of the discussions with Cornell this year, we also asked them if that was a place where we could put a dock, and so that discussion. So I don't think that place is structurally sound.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd be happy to again look into it further and certify 100%, make sure that that's the case. And like I said, if that is definitely the case, then we can look into our plan B. Or the other option is to use that space just without the dock bit. If you're down there, there's actually like a good fair amount of just grass and land before you actually get to the dock. And if in fact the dock isn't structurally sound enough to have people out on or put a dock on, wouldn't it be nicer to have it sort of fixed up and nice looking with a really gorgeous theater kind of blocking it than to have it filled with trash and clay?
Is there a way that you could do your production without touching the base of the bridge? In other words,
Without touching the columns? Like the actual physical columns there?
That's right. Not have the column, not be anywhere near the columns, just like.
Yeah, certainly we could.
Keep away from that.
Certainly we could. They're pretty solid and stable, we certainly wouldn't be open to them or anything like that. But if it was a safety concern that touching the base of the bridge, we wouldn't need to do anything here. We could kind of get it off a little bit if we already have this easy enough to do that.
I know at one point there was a group that was looking to bring kayaks in, and that was a spot that they would want to use. It's also a spot that's under consideration for ferry usage.
Right.
I would hesitate to want to use this space, which is not a waterbound use, for your purpose when there are waterbound uses. But one of the big concerns that the kayak group had, or that RIRA actually I think expressed about the kayak group, is that there have been instances of things falling from the bridge on a fairly frequent basis. And it may be a safety issue for your group to be there. Are there other places on the island that you would be more likely to want to use?
Yeah, so the sort of plan B spot that we had, I'll go into a little bit more detail, since it looks like that seems to be what people are more comfortable with. If you go on the Queen side of South Point Park, there's a gated off sort of area. If you're walking down the pathway, the fence is sort of here. There's actually a good solid chunk of land just to the left of you. Particularly the farther south you get, the more open space there is, whereas on the Manhattan side there's pretty much the fence, a little bit of grass, and then the water. There's actually a really good amount of land. I may or may not have snuck out there. I don't know if you investigated it one day. There's a great amount of land with trees, a sort of diverse landscape, which is great. And again, what we did was we put another fence safety railing along the water there. That would be a great place. Plenty of open area for the gated and good fencing. And bring the company there, so you still keep it on the island. I'm just trying to say, it seems like...
One second, we're going to just pass the mic around to everybody, so just like, move the mic to the next person you've done, whoever wants to talk, okay?
It seems that this is an outdoor activity, right?
Yes.
And so it's only for warmer periods of the year.
Sure, yeah.
Would something like meditation steps work for you?
The ones that we've got sort of on the Manhattan side?
Yeah, right down. The meditation steps that are behind that. Can you utilize better for your
The ones that are just there. The only thing about that is I wouldn't want to get in the way of things that other people want to use it for. Rehearsals can involve, needing to use the space for a diversity of things for big periods of time, and I wouldn't want to cut it off to other people's uses or have people get. One of the things that we had, and I felt terrible about this when we were using the amphitheater. If any of you saw Much Ado About Nothing, it was set in 1861 Italy. We had accordions and mandolins and guitars, and some of the people would kind of come out and be like, "Hey, my mom's trying to sleep." And we'd say, "Oh gosh, sorry, it's we have to rehearse. We'll try to keep it down." So I don't, things like that. I don't want somebody to be out there saying, "Hey, I came here to, nap, or I came here to read. You guys keep music down." It's a very active throughway, and I would be concerned that.
Well, the difference is that the amphitheater is right in the part of everybody's living area. And the main steps is actually a part of it would be less invasive for people. I'm just curious whether you actually had this conversation with RIRA.
The answer to that question is no. It's an upcoming question that I need to have. But what I really wanted to do is I thought it would be a good idea to come to you guys to see if you were in support of Island Shakespeare, keeping its home here on Roosevelt Island, which I feel very strongly about. I don't want to have to. It's a strong company. If any of you have seen our shows with really talented Broadway, West End, Stratford performers. I want to stay here on the island. I don't want to have to take the company elsewhere because I think it's such a symbiotic relationship. So my hope was to come here, hopefully get the support of you fine folks, and then talk to RIRA. I'm definitely open to other ideas for spaces. I just want whatever's going to work best for the community as a whole.
Thank you for coming, and Island Shakespeare is wonderful. I just wanted to point out, both your first Plan A and Plan B are waterbound spaces. So the concerns people were raising were that there's waterbound. I think other projects are going to be really in that kind of space. So you may want to plan in space that is not also water on the water. Planting spaces not to
concerned because you hear that your use of this space was not very good. You weren't very responsible. I don't know the details, but apparently there was a problem getting some equipment and let the area clear. So, it gives me pause how you're going to maintain, this other side.
I'd love to address that if I could. I think small community has a lot of really wonderful aspects. I think a small community also has the possibility of sometimes rumor gets out and can escalate. I'll talk to you a little bit about how we use this space. First, we went to all the other people with whom we were sharing the space. We asked them about the things that we hope to do. Do you mind if we leave this structure up? Do you mind if we do this? Do you mind if we do that? We went through extensively with the heads of both of the churches who use it, walked through it with them, spent a lot of time, sat down for several meetings with Owen, going over here's when he's going to be here, here's when we're going to be here, and with RIRA. We had a really difficult situation, which was that when we first came in here, RIRA had told us absolutely nobody in the church is using the space except for you folks. Then, unfortunately, Main Street Theater had a situation where they ended up using this space. Then, unbeknownst to, I think, Main Street Theater and us, I won't speak for them, there were all sorts of other spaces that came in. We had our schedule that we had printed out here, and people were coming in and out, so we had nights where we go, okay, we're the last ones here, we're the first ones in tomorrow, so it's okay if we leave our table out, because nobody else is going to be here. We can see it on the schedule. And then we hear the next day, oh, this group was very angry because they came in at 10 o'clock and their table was out. We feel terrible about that. What we did do was we fixed a lot of the broken bits around the whole space. There were chairs upstairs, pews that were broken. We got our crew to come in and fix them. There were blinds in that room there that we spent a lot of time fixing. We left the space in better shape than we found it, so much so that we did a walkthrough with a representative of the RIRC the day after we left. They went through with a couple of their people, and to try as they might, they couldn't find a single thing out of place or a single thing we left wrong. I know that there were some rumors coming out about things going on, but I guarantee you, we're very respectful of all spaces. I've been a churchgoer since I was a child. I go to church every Sunday. I have a huge amount of respect for churches in particular. We took very good care of the space, and to this day I have a very good relationship with Father Michael Morris of the Catholic Church, who was here during the time we were here, because we got on so well together. So I promise you, I'm sorry that you heard that. But
We saw the letter.
well, and part of that, and I actually,
The priest and
what was that?
we saw the letter.
Yes.
The priest and ministers.
Yes.
About these.
And I got a letter from a priest a short while later saying, I'm so sorry I was associated with that. I let my name be signed to a document.
Oh, nonsense. Show us that letter then. You just said that.
I will, would you like me to? I'm happy to do that. I won't waste everyone's time. I will show you that email after this meeting. I would be happy to do that. I have a lot of respect for the space, and we took very good care of it while we were here. I promise you that.
Pastor Mike?
Yes, I would like to say to myself, I'm opposed to fencing off more parkland on Roosevelt Island for you to use during the summer months. You had mentioned you wanted to fence off the area of the oil dock. We don't know what's going to happen with the oil dock. It could be turned into parkland at one point. It could be turned into a ferry at another point. It's not going to be fenced off so you can present your programs for 2 to 3 months of the year. That's not right. It doesn't matter if you're going to approve it or what you say. It's not right. It's also not right to fence off a portion of South Point Park. We have enough encroachments onto our parkland. We're not going to lose another square inch. There are plenty of venues for you to put on your shows. In fact, there are so many possible venues for you to put on your shows that should spark your creativity to use maybe the motorcade action one day, maybe Lighthouse Park another day, to incorporate the lighthouse as part of your set. Did you ever think about all the myriad and meditation steps, as we said? There's myriad spots on Roosevelt Island to put on wonderful shows, indoors and out. You could even use the plaza over in this church. Do it outside, right by the plaza. You have this Victorian-looking church. You can have that as a castle, an Elsinore or something. Did you ever
they analyze each of these places. So I'm not sure, you know. So to address that question before, I'm not seeing anything in RIRA's report. They talk about tides and water and stuff like that, but that's not affecting you. I also will say that I do express similar concerns about making use of waterfront space. There really are, you know, some other spaces. You know, I always thought that space in Eastwood, I think you performed there, right? Yeah, I thought that was potentially a good spot. I don't know what. And then also, lastly, I echo the point of maybe as a he said, she said on this, but right now our committee tonight is going to be dealing with some of the concerns expressed about the organization using this space. I would like to see that resolved somehow, and to the satisfaction of you, the Nation Theater, RIRA, the church, you know, and whatever. And without getting into the details on that, I would just say I'd like to see that resolved before we move forward towards endorsing any particular spot.
Anybody from the audience?
Judy, Judy wants to speak.
I move.
Judy, you just changed seats.
Yes, I did. No, it's spending too many hours in a wonderful school cafeteria yesterday. Kristi, you screwed up this building royally last year. Your dog was running around off leash, scratching the furniture upstairs. You turned off safety lights. You turned off the elevator. This building was screwed up. The parish has had a horrible time when you were here, and I was here. I witnessed all of it. You made dangerous situations by turning off lights, putting lit candles on staircases to be your show. You endangered the public by using the space. And I know Ria was not happy with you, so don't say it was nothing, we were exaggerating. I was here the entire time, and Owen is the diplomat, but I know what he went through. I don't think the oil here is not safe. I've been on that video. It is not safe. It needs millions of dollars of restoration for anyone to even walk on it. And it slants into the river. It's great if you want to go sliding into the river. The property under the Queensboro Bridge belongs to the New York City Department of Transportation, and I sincerely doubt that they will let you use their property under the bridge, because it's their bridge up there, it's not Ria's bridge. The part at South Point Park, it's a park. It's not a play area. There's no area down there for storage, there's no area down there for dressing rooms or any accoutrements that outdoor theaters need. I really think that you're going to just have to find another location. I don't like to tell people that maybe Roosevelt Island isn't right for them, but your reputation on Roosevelt Island has been severely tarnished by when you use the other areas. So I think it's time to think of some other location and to rethink your plans. Thank you.
Well, I am sorry that you feel that way. It is not the case. We did not spread the space. We left it in much better shape when we found it. Ria walked through it with us after. If you talk to a lot of the island residents who have come to our productions, loved our productions, thoroughly enjoyed our productions, I think our reputation on the island overall is very good. We put on very high quality performances. I will address, I have a service dog. Some of you may have seen him. He's a little Australian cattle dog. He comes with me just about everywhere, and I did bring him into the space with me during rehearsal, which I had permission from Donna Masley from RIRA to do. He didn't buy any furniture. He doesn't do that. I'm going to do my part.
Owen Johnston, Main Street here. I don't say much. I've said everything that I really need to say in supplying the letter that was submitted to RIRA, signed by 4 organizations, not just mine. I don't understand how you can stand there and say that it was okay for you to have fruit rock off leash, and that Donna Masley said it was okay. Public safety was called a dozen times for your dog being off leash. I watched your dog chew furniture upstairs. I watched your dog pull a flyer off of the floor box upstairs. think I saw your dog on the leash probably twice the entire time you were here. I could go on and on and on. I'm not going to. Know who you are supporting. Understand who you are supporting. If you're the voice of Roosevelt Island, you don't need me to tell you. There's plenty of sources, there are plenty of people, there are plenty of documentation of activities that happen in this space. And across the way in the East Avenue, do your homework. And speak for the voice, and speak for the people of Roosevelt Island. Thank you.
So from Shakespeare, all throughout with the music.
And just a quick question. It's just not clear to me, and maybe you can clarify. Coming to us today, is your purpose in coming to us today to ask for this body to endorse the locations that you've chosen, or are you asking us maybe to endorse your organization in continuing conversations with RIRA to find alternate locations that are appropriate for your space?
The latter. We're hoping, we have this one space in mind, and what we're hoping for is that you folks will endorse our continued presence on the island, so that we can keep our company here on the island, and we can go to RIRA with the support of the island residents and RIRA.
I saw your presentation at the church, and I found it delightful. And in fact, it was one of the first Shakespeare productions that I really liked, and I really got on a visceral level. I thought it was wonderful. And everybody that came that day thought it was wonderful. I would love for you to find a place where you could do no harm. You know, that would be ideal. If there was a place that Island Shakespeare exists on Roosevelt Island where you can do no harm, I would heartily support you because I feel you put on an excellent production. The only problem is the place, you know, we're in such close proximity. I mean, I think that Helen brought up a place that's totally empty, and in the parking, you know, the base of the parking garage around the escalator, it would be a wonderful place for a production. And it would be a wonderful place, the dressing room could be out in the trams, you know, the old tram cars. The only concern I have is that from what Owen described, I would be concerned that you might set the parking garage on fire or something like that, you know, something that you would do, and I didn't see harmful, you know, so that's what I'm concerned about. Is there some way that we can be assured that we can do no harm in, you know, you thinking about the public and the safety of people when you're doing your production?
No, all I can really say is,
I think it is fair because what Owen put out there.
I mean, all I can say to address that is, can I do anything to assure you?
Yes.
No,
Two things you can do. Okay. You can provide us with a letter from the priest where you said he said here
Yes.
it was not right and he's taking distance from the letter we got.
Yes, I can do that.
And you can provide us with the information who from the office walked with you through the place when.
Donna Masley, it was the day after we closed, which I think was February 12th.
And she said nothing was there.
Nothing.
Everything was in
For
order.
entrance through here, the only question she had for me, see those hooks that are up there? She asked us if we had installed those. I told her the answer was no, because we hadn't. In fact, we wish they hadn't been there. They got very much in our way. And the gentleman that was with her assured her, no, those had been there. We walked around, as some of you know, we used the entire space. We walked up, we walked down, we walked in and around, and they told us the space was spick and span, they could not find it.
Okay, what I would